Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Podcast, brought to you guys by SportsShoes.com. As always, radio roundup, inbound, plus we've got a very special interview from a couple of weeks ago now, mate, where Matt sat down with some M11 athletes live at the House of SportsShoes. Mate, how you doing, first of all?
Very well, mate. Good Easter weekend. Wrapped up the junior to senior camp last week, which was absolutely epic as per. So yeah, been a busy period actually, but a quiet period in our sport. Not too many headlines to discuss.
No, not at all, mate. Obviously, Jimmy Gressier ran the road 5K record. And then interesting all white speed suit as well that I think a few people quite liked. We had some good NCAA results. We had Lille 5K, 10K as well. And Matt and I thought we better chat about who we think's gonna make it big time this summer and who maybe is not.
Who flops and who pops. Yeah, it's funny about the speed suits. So we had on the camp and they were just saying about how they're designing speed suits just for the everyday punter now. Like, you're going to be able to buy that thing online. They want as many people in speed suits as possible. And yeah, it's just continues to grow in popularity. And is there a world where speed suits are catching on at youth level? And, you rock up to English schools and everyone's in a speed suit and it's the new normal.
I guess, cycling triathlon, like, it's been taken on by the masses for the past forever, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You see all sorts of shapes and sizes in a full cycling speed suit at any level, right? So
bring back split shorts, mate. Bring back the splitties.
Oh, I know. But to be fair, it does make split shorts even cooler because now when you see the lone guy in the 800 in the split shorts, you're like,
the thing is, these days, there's studies that are already out there saying about how much of a difference the aerodynamics makes. There was an article in there about in the sprint hundreds, how much the vest cost them is either at the Olympics or the World Champs. I can't remember. Yeah. So, athletes are doing everything. So I wonder if they're like, a loose vest and some split shorts, it's not going to be the fastest fit on the day. It could cost me 0.01 of a second.
Do you remember Trayvon Bromell in the 100?
Rock
those split shorts. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's funny because when I did a podcast with Lavia at the House of SportsShoes a few weeks back, and she's moved over to Baylor to train, and I was like, Baylor, Trayvon Bromell. And she was like, he's a famous sprinter, but I was like, my favourite Trayvon Bromell moment was when he won the NCAA's bright yellow splits, green vest, Baylor uniform. Bosh, and she couldn't even recall it, mate. I was like, where's your knowledge?
She's clearly not watched the Driven with Trayvon Bromell about 6 times.
Exactly. So, I was like, this is prime time. What was that? 2015 or something? 2016?
Must be.
Like, prime time. Yeah. NCAA, Old Hayward. Those were the years. Mate, so let's get in some of these results because we obviously pushed that results roundup out, but we always miss a few. Someone who caught the eye, not initially from us, was Alex Thompson. So, a few listeners, few followers of the podcast just messaged in 13:33 for him, man, at Boise State. Very, very impressive. And we're starting to see a few Brits just turn the needle a little bit out in the States. Some good performances from Dargan, some good 5K performances all around. Isaac Hirschman-Chandler, low 13:40s. So, seeing those results, I guess we'd expect from a Stanford, Luke Birdseye, as well, 13:40. So a number of men well south of 13:45 and getting into the 13:30s, which is impressive for their age.
That's getting great, isn't it? But one thing we wanted to obviously just touch upon was which British men are going to go to the 5,000 meters at the Europeans, because I know it's early season. Matt and I were kind of having a little look at the rankings and also which sort of other events our kind of best 5K guys are targeting. Are they doing London, etc.? Is anyone going to go for that 5K?
George Mills and Alex Yee. Scott Beattie obviously has a chance. If I was to pick a 5K team right now, I'd say George Mills, Alex Yee, and Scott Beattie. I think they're probably, I think Rowe and Diva definitely have a chance if they're to do the 5K. Can't see them doing it. Obviously, Yee's just pacing London, and he did run a very, very, what did he run last year? 13:12, just outside the standard. Ran a very impressive 5K last year. It was around the 13:10s for Yee. Can't quite remember officially, but yeah, otherwise I honestly can't see anyone else doing it. Can't see anyone else doing it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have three.
I don't think we'll have three either.
Yeah, even if it's by choice. That's not me saying that 3 won't qualify. I think, people
gravitating towards the 10, but it's huge competition for the 10 again. But we're going to see a scenario where loads of people have the time, and then we won't necessarily see them at the trials. So that's going to be a tough team to pick, as we discussed already. But it's easy because you got home champs, Europeans in Birmingham. And yeah, I think that 5K is, I haven't seen as many men gravitate towards that 5K as I thought we would. The women, on the other hand, I mean, that's going to be a tough team to pick because so many of them, I think, will be on the nose. Inez, Melissa Bryant, Hannah Nuttall, Laura Muir.
We're saying this because Boston didn't pop off like it has in previous years. So I think at this stage in the season, in April, we're normally coming in and we basically know which of our British guys have run the standard or not because they ran it in February.
Do you know what I think one of the problems is actually all these road races are forcing people, Boston does it a little bit, but I think all these road races now, as good as they are and people can go and run fast, they're trying to peak for these road races at obscure times of the year. I mean, Lille 5K is a perfect example. I mean, Gressier's kind of got that European record. He wanted the world record. He's run 12:51, but he's probably not peaking. He knows that he's got another few months before he would have just thought, right, I'm in really good shape. 4:49 for a world record is low hanging fruit these days for someone like Gressier. And as good as that time is, but he's run sub 13 on the roads before, and he knows Lille is a fast course.
The Olympic champ over 10,000.
Exactly, and ran quick there last year, and it was pissing down last year. But I think these races are forcing people to just. Their peak is it's just a little bit wrong. It's forcing them to really empty the barrel at weird times of year, which is in theory, I think is probably going to take away from what they can go and do in the summer. So they never quite get that, that ultimate run out. Whereas I sort of look at, you look at other Europeans and I think they're a little bit more strategic about, what they do. Yeah, they might go to Boston, but that's all they'll do. You won't see them in loads of other races or they'll sort of do these 5Ks and 10Ks and just be building through them. And we found out you look at the 10K, I mean, the Wheeler boys love them, but off it in that 10K, Zach Mohammed, again, he's been on training camp after training camp, off it in that little 10K. So, you look at like what these guys were able to produce in Valencia to what they can produce now. It's almost like they've had that peak in an obscure time of year in January, and I think that's throwing a lot of people off.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, mate. But it's also the year to almost mess around and do some of these things.
It is
where there's almost no natural like full peak. Particularly for the top athletes who maybe are like, well, I'm going to do Europeans, but I might need to work on some things this season. So it's interesting. But then I guess you contrast that with Keely, and there's such a clear plan about this is exactly where we're going with it. And she won't race, or she'll run, even though we might criticize it, right? She might run one round of a British champs because that is exactly what's right for the plan. And that is the difference between the top of the top and the top.
Also, the difference is Keely knows that she do any race she wants come the summer. There's
true.
A lot of these, and I think that's why the roads are quite appealing for a lot of people, is because they know they're racing. They know they're racing a long way out. Whereas on the track, if you're trying to run 13:10 for 5,000, you don't know where you're racing yet. You've not got a calendar yet. Your agent's probably working tirelessly in the background trying to get you into these races, but nothing's confirmed. Yeah, maybe you've entered IFAM and you've got that locked in at the end of May. But beyond that, you're trying to run those sorts of times. You just can't get locked into races. Where are you going to do it? Where's the depth going to be on the day? There's loads of races popping up all over the place, and it's trying to communicate with other runners to make sure you're going to be where these events pop off. And so you take a bit of a gamble on where you do want to go peak. But hey, look, let's get into this Lille 5K. We've got a bit off topic, but yeah, some good results. I mean, Mina Skachard for me in the NCAA as well. She's ripping it up. I mean, I'm not sure how many years she's got left, but whenever she's done there, she's I expect her to go pro or be in a position to go pro. I think that's what she'll be racing for this year, and yeah, future looks bright for her in terms of British middle distance running. The way she can do the 8 and the 15, both very close to breaking 2. Good 4:09. 1,500 as well, so it's going to be exciting to see if she can podium at the NCAAs or even get a gold.
Yeah, I mean she'll be there or thereabouts, won't she? With those sorts of times, particularly in the 800. Obviously, the 50s one. Actually, I think at NCAA level they still do jog around a bit and they open it up for a few more athletes. It's not quite like it is on the pro stage. But let's get into those Lille results. Obviously, India Weir 15-15 leading the women, Cara Hughes 15-18, and Verity Okinen 15-24. So 3 women.
World road running standards ticked.
Really pushing it there. And then on the men's side, Callum Elson 13-51. Good to see him, I guess, get one under the belt, get one done. And then over in the 10K, like we said, probably not quite as quick as the guys would have wanted, with Zat Mohammed 28-20, and then the wheelers down 28-40s, Charlie and George.
Yeah, not quite clicking for them. Why are France so good at the moment? I mean, they had 5 men 15:30 or quicker just on the roads, and they had quite a few men who weren't there, and then they had quite a few in the 10K as well. They are absolutely cooking. I say it every week, but why are they so good?
Yeah, I think what we'll need to do to get the answer, we'll probably have to go back 5-6 years and look at what they've been doing in that time. Whether it's because it's got to be, they've got to change something, or culturally there's been some sort of shift.
So I think one of the big changes they've made is they attacked the European cross country championships as a team. Like that was a driving force for them. That was where all these athletes could unite. And again, the mixed relay at the Europeans, they seem to really, when I was at the European cross in Brussels, they were taking that really seriously. Like they're sort of pulling in all their best mid-distance runners for that mixed relay. And again, with the cross as well, it was like pulling in. I remember talking to Jan Scrupp, pulling in all these guys, and they were really excited about what they could go and do at the European cross. And I think that's where, you look at Gressier as well, their background, that's where it started. And now they're all at a level where they're just pushing each other. Like to go and win a French title is, you've got to be pretty much the best in Europe, if not, one of the best in the world over 5K or 10K. It's becoming very, very competitive. There's a load of guys in this race in Lille, like I said, 5 men 13:30 or quicker and 2 sub 13. But there's a load of guys who weren't there as well. Their depth is incredible at the sharp end.
Is the French champs well spectated and things like that? Do you know?
Yeah, and there's some good races there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at their cross country as well. 30,000 at their national cross. It's extremely well spectated. And that little 5K and 10K, by the way, looked absolutely epic. For me, that matches. Well, for me, actually, you could argue the performances don't match Valencia, but it looked like the atmosphere surpasses Valencia easy. Like there's 4 or 5 people deep on the streets of Lille watching that. I mean, if you're a Brit, mate, Eurostar across, it's a no-brainer for future years. If you want to pop a fast road 5K out before the season gets going, absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, and actually, for a lot of people, for your kind of average runner, the timing's great in terms of like pre-track season. Yeah, so
in between road relays, national 12 stage national 12 and 6 stage this weekend. Yeah, right. So that was the Lille 5K. We're very, very, very impressed there. Champs Marathon announced they're going to move away from the World Track and Field Championships, and they're going to have a separate marathon. I think they want to build it around the Athens Marathon. Men and women will be on alternate years. It'll start in 2031. I'm not sure with who, the men or the women, but then obviously 2032 will be the opposite sex, and then 2033 back round. I look at that, and I think World Athletics see how much road running is booming. And it's like, you look at the European Road Running Championships, you look at the World Road Running Championships, like, of course, there's buy-in from the elite end, but they go, hold on a minute, this is mass tickets, this is, look at what London's doing. This is 50,000 people can run behind the elites in Athens. How can we piggyback off that marathon? How can we piggyback off this boom in road running?
Do you know if the mass spots, are they going to be split sex as well?
For London? Or
no, for the World Champs.
Yeah,
will it just be the elites then? It's completely open to who follows, because you can obviously pay to run in the World Champs, right?
Yeah. I guess they'd have to be careful, because you get quite a lot of sub-elite men who could run. If the women's race is tactical,
catch up.
Tactical. Intrigued to see how they do it, but I think this is them as a governing body getting on that train of mass participation events and using that boom. They need to. I mean, and this is, you begin to wonder like where the sport's going to go, because it's clearly where the money is, isn't it? Like you look at, if they can piggyback off a marathon, around the world, around Europe, they've already got all that infrastructure. It's easy for them to put on relatively, and World Athletics can come in, sweep in, take a big old stash of cash from entries, from putting their label to the event. And so it is a no-brainer for them when you look at how much these major marathons are now making.
Yeah, I think as long as some of that goes back into, I guess, financing the elite end of the sport, then brilliant. Right? I think that's always been our argument. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as some of the profit goes back into servicing the elite end of the sport and making sure that there's better performance opportunities for the elite. And brilliant.
Yeah, my thing is it does all start to get a little bit confusing. You know, you start to have World Road Running Championships. You start to have the World Championships in a marathon separate. You then have the World Ultimate Championships. You then have the actual World Championships. It does all get a bit like, oh God, who's actually the world champion these days? Like, no one bloody knows.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, especially
Which is why the Olympics will always be the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Everyone knows where it's
have to be. So that's an interesting headline from the sport at the moment. Just talking about events and races, actually, the big 5K coming up in Temper Radley guys, big 5K coming up for them, and Field's looking very good for the Fly Carb 5K that they're putting on. I'll run you through some of the elite names in a couple of weekends' time, but entries still open. Free entries for sub 14:30 and sub 17 minutes. And at the moment, Freddie Richardson leads away. Ben Alcock, Charlie Brisley. You've got 5 or 6 men sub 14. Cosmo Benyon, he's looking real good. And then on the women's side, Jade Morgan, Esma Davies, Millie Jordan Lee. So again, few there, sub 16, Katie Pye, and a few others in there. Good prize money as well. The more people that enter means the prize pot grows. Prize pot currently sitting at £1,500. And I think that'll be split 400, 250, 100 for those top 3 at the moment. But yeah, I am going to shout them out because doing good things, putting, like you said, the money that they're making, putting it back in to those elites, and a very fast circuit on a good time of year as well, just in a couple of weekends' time.
Yeah, absolutely. And mate, just before we get into this week's interview, mate, who are your picks for the track season then? Who's popping and who's flopping?
Who's popping and who's flopping, mate? It's probably easier to start with who's flopping.
OAC, should we start there?
Yeah, I think OAC are going through a transition period. When we talk about OAC, I'm talking about the OAC America group, Brits' group. I think, they look like they've had a few leave. Kai Robinson's holding it together. I think, they're going through a transition period. Jordy Beamish is unfortunately just always struggling, with injuries. If that guy never got injured, I mean, it would be scary what he would go on to achieve. It does just seem to be the one thing holding him back. He gets 6 months of training in and he's absolutely steaming. So, yeah, I just think with Ollie Hoare, just, he's done a couple of races.
It's crazy because they seem to like, they
formed.
Seems
to dropped off.
Yeah. Mate, I was just saying that they formed and had success so quickly and almost like just took up what the Bowmans had previously.
Yeah.
But Bowman were at the top for a good few years. And OAC seems like, it's just been, a couple of years really they had?
Yeah, they sort of, I mean, I do think they formed at the perfect time. Just coming out of COVID, everyone was, still a little bit asleep. They were ahead of their time in everything. Like the way they were approaching recovery, the way they were approaching training camps,
and the way they were marketing it as well.
The way they were marketing it, the way they were racing. I think they were ahead of their time, and they got a lot of guys fresh out of college who were excited, hungry, and it was just a fun time in the sport for them. The sport has just got very, very competitive though. I look at the 1500, the 5K, you can't call any Diamond League now is almost near impossible to call a winner, especially now you remove Jakob from the equation. It's just extremely competitive. So it's a difficult period for them. You look at Nagoose, he's a tiny bit off his game and it's like, we don't even talk about him anymore. But I also look at their ages in an event like the 1500. This is why I think Kerr and Whiteman have just, for me, been extremely impressive. Maybe you can bring Gawley into that, is what they've done, into their late 20s, 30s over the 1500. And I know that's not old in our sport. You look at Georgia Hunter Bell, it's not old. But at the 1500, I do look at someone like Ollie Hoare and I'm like, those wheels that he would have had to run that 329 back in the day, has he still got them? What would he do over an 800? Like, it's quite clear to see he's nowhere near got that speed reserve required to compete at a world class level anymore over the 1500. I might eat my words.
No, I think I think it's fair to say, and I think look, you mentioned Georgia Bell in there, and I think that's just it's different when you've had time out from the sport. It's a lot to just keep hammering it, and I think the athletes we do see that have gone on and competed way into their well, in Kipchoge's case, right, his 40s have changed event, and they've changed with the sport. But
the problem is changing events is now becoming very difficult as well. Like that step up to the 5 and the 10, it's just harder than ever.
It's also more people are more. I think people are more keen to go to the marathon nice and early because it's no longer seen as the event. I failed in the 1500 meters, so now I'm going to go run the 5. Now I'm going to go run the 10. Now I'm going to go run the marathon. And it's like people always talk about how I guess Farah never got it right in the marathon. But let's be honest, like if he'd gone in his peak, I think he'd have absolutely flown. But he had his best years on the track, and that's why we'll look back at his career and be like, it was absolutely insane what he did.
Yeah, but also Farah could win majors in 2.5, 2.6. Whereas now,
that's what I'm saying. People still say he flopped.
Yeah. Whereas now you can't like that. And that's another reason why people are transitioning so early is because they're like, well, if I'm going to be competitive, I'm going to make a national team, I need to run 2.5. It's going to take me a few years to get to that. It's going to take me a few cracks. I'm going to have to learn the event a lot more than just carrying lots of speed from the 10K, moving up to the half, and then basically just rolling the dice on a marathon. And that's effectively what Farah did, really. But for many, they can't get away with that anymore. So
yeah,
but no, I'm very excited to see what the Puma group do. I feel like they are. You look at how groups formed; they're a couple years now embedded. Craggs has got those men and women moving really well. He's got success on a world level with them, and I'm very excited to see what Paddy and Rowe can do. Obviously, we'll get into a full London prediction, and this is just teasing it up. But Emil is obviously, what version of Emil are we going to see in London? That challenge between guys who have proven themselves in this build versus Emil is going to be very, very exciting for me. Is it even going to be a race? Will we see all of those Brits in the same? Alex Yees and Outs, he's pacing that second group. Wink face going to be fun. We don't know what that second group is going to move at yet. Is it going to be 62? Is it going to be 63 through halfway? Are we going to see all those Brits in that same group? If we are, BBC need to pull their finger out and get us a motorbike on that British group.
I know. It's so jarring every single year when all you want to do is watch the Brits.
We would rather. I'm sure many would rather watch those Brits. Hey, you've got a group of 5 or 6 men all going for 206, seeing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
bonkers. But yeah.
So there's my 2 groups. I think OAC are going through a period of an adjustment period.
Yeah,
and they are recruiting actually. I mean, Dylan Jacobs, like I said, Kai Robinson. There's a few others who have come into that group who are attacking the roads and stuff as well. So I'm sure we will see them a lot more prominent again. But it does look like there is a slight changing of the guard going on there. And on the other end of the spectrum, you just look at that Puma group and the momentum they've got. I mean, Peter Lynch as well. You're in a group where Jack Rowe is about 5th fastest over the half marathon. He's run 60:10 or 60:15 or whatever he ran. It's like, and you're the 5th fastest in your group. He's like, I think there's 3 or 4 of them have broken out. For a half, like that is,
I just hope with that group that they don't become a half marathon group, because I think we've seen in the past.
They're a marathon group, mate.
Well, I know they are, but as in obviously we're going to see Paddy and Rowe in London, and I just hope that their marathon times match up to their half times, because I think when you get groups that are so good at the half marathon, like the depth you said, and love getting in quick halves and love racing over the half, it's so tempting to do that. But the translation is not always there. We've seen it time and time again with athletes where they run low 60s and then they're outside 210. So yeah, I just hope that those guys have a good one at the end of the month. Hey, next week's topic, we want to know people's who your streets won't forget runners are. So these are the athletes who, maybe they didn't win the most medals. They probably certainly didn't run any world records. But you won't forget them maybe because of the way they race, the way they train, the way they posted on socials. back when Twitter and Instagram was absolutely feisty in the day. So yeah, we basically want you to ring in, message in, and tell us who those athletes are for you. We'll have a bit of debate over maybe we'll rank some as well. Matt and I will bring our favourites to the fore. But yeah, that's gonna be next week's topic. But yeah, and then obviously this week, mate, over to our little interview.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Streets won't forget. Let's call in. Let's engage with that one. We want to hear from as many of you as possible. We'll focus on that 2010s era. I mean, for me, that's prime time. We can go back further, but I think we'll try and keep it within that 2010 to 2020 decade.
I guess it depends on the person who's person who messaged in. Right?
Someone might come out
for us. There, it's always going to be that era, isn't it? So
some rogue 90s takes. And the reason this is despite as well, we're going to be talking to a few 2010s peaking athletes, men and women who were at their best during that era as well. So just to give you a little hint of who's coming up over the next few weeks. But yeah, when the likes of Ethan Hussey, Erin Wallace and Sarah Healy were just starting out in their career back in the 2010s. So we'll hear from them now. And everything M11 and just so interesting always. I look at big groups and just those dynamics forming and how Trevor and Jenny are just able to harness and make sure that everyone is benefiting from that setup as much as possible. So I mean, just initially though, Streets won't forget. I'm gonna say Robbie Andrews.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Yeah,
Parker Stinson. Parker Stinson. Parker Stinson. I mean, Eric Jenkins is one of my favorite runners of all time. Like the way that guy used to move, behind chairs. When him and Ches went 1-2 the NCAA cross, so it's one of the best races. 2014 NCAA cross? That's just that Oregon singlet. Just Oregon when Ches was there was just goated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there we go.
Let's get into this
what's to come.
M11 podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Matt spoke to the guys at M11 live in the House of SportsShoes. Enjoy this one, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Good evening, everyone. May I grab your attention? And we'll get this live podcast underway here at the House of SportsShoes. I hope you've all had a little look around, been downstairs as well, checked out that Colossus gate analysis. I know we've got a lot of runners in the room actually as well. We've got a lot of experts tonight. So looking forward to recording our second Sports Shoes podcast here at the House of SportsShoes. And one more tomorrow night. There are still a few more spots available for Trevor and Jenny tomorrow night. So do join us for one more final podcast in this mini-series that we've done here at the House of SportsShoes. But look, without further ado, let me welcome some very, very special guests. They are members of M11. They are internationals. They are stars. They're national record holders as well. So first up, we welcome Ethan Hussey, 144 800-meter man, national medalist. Welcome to the stage, Ethan Hussey. And next up then, British medalist, international star, 1,500-meter runner, Erin Wallace. And then finally, Irish international, national record holder, Sarah Healy. How are we all? Welcome to London. There we go. I've introduced you by your full names. Firstly, I want to ask, you're in a big group. Do we have nicknames? Best nickname in the group?
Well, we were just talking about this, and I don't really think we are one for nicknames, but what I will always do is I will always call Sarah Healy. I don't even call her Sarah most of the time. It's just like the full thing. I don't know why.
What about Trev and Jenny? Do they have nicknames for you? What do they call you guys?
I don't know. They've started to call me Ez recently, but that's a bit of a new thing. That's not really... I feel like it could stick though going forwards, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just Sarah Healy. Everyone just calls me that. I think there's just too many Sarahs out there, so yeah, I'm just Sarah Healy.
Well, look, firstly, you're a part of basically the best track club in the world. And I wanted to just kick things off by who's had the biggest influence on you within this team? I know some of you have joined at different times as well, but who is holding that team together?
Probably just, for me, it's just the coaches. Like, the people holding the group together is everybody. There's no, I'd say, one specific person. I think everyone does a great job as a team. You know, there's not really one specific person that stands out for me. Everyone has their own individual role without actually really knowing. They all offer their own specific things, so if there's ever an issue, you can always go to one specific person, but there isn't, say for me, one person that stands out that kind of holds the group together.
Sorry, can you use that one? Sorry.
That's a fair point. I mean, would that ring true for both of you as well?
Yeah, I think, like Ethan said, I suppose there's not one specific person, but I mean, I guess Keely is like the reason the group exists. So, as in, you know, she was there first, and I guess her success brought a lot of, I guess it kind of brought Erin, was one of the first kind of people from the outside to join, and then I saw Erin had joined, and then I joined, and then obviously it's kind of expanded quite a lot since then. So in some ways, I guess Keely's the catalyst for all of it. But then obviously now we all I try to do our part to keep it together.
Absolutely. And through Keely, what sort of standards are expected of you day to day? Do you think of it like that, or do you just sort of turn up and do your job?
Yeah, probably we are all doing our own thing there, but with Keely in training is just absolutely mental to watch. Or before I joined the group, I don't think I really appreciated like how good she actually is, but in training she's just crazy, and it really makes sense how she's performing on the track, because she's just so consistent and so strong across everything basically.
Erin, I'll stay with you. Do you look at your training partners, because you are fighting them for positions at global championships? Do you sometimes look at them and just like, how can I get one up on them on race day?
Yeah, sometimes, but then when you're talking about Georgia and Keely, it's like they are almost freaks of nature in that way, that they're just so... Well, I guess when you train with people day in, day out as well, you know how strong they are and what their strengths are, and like even where I fall comparatively to them. So I wouldn't say I'm looking at them thinking, oh, I'm fighting you for a place on the team, but it's more look at it in a way of people to run with and train with and get better.
And Ethan, I'll ask you this one, but do you guys feel pressure to perform, being a part of M11? You're held to higher standards?
No. I have my own standards for myself. I don't really let anybody else's opinion kind of get to me. That's just my personal way of working. I don't know for others, but I don't really like to let the outside noise get to me. Yeah, I think there probably will always be outside noise, because the group is very, very high performance, and the people we have in the group are some of the best athletes in the world, if not the best. So yeah, there will always be outside noise, but it's up to the individual athlete as to how they deal with that. It'll help some, it'll fuel some, but to some others, it might not be the greatest thing.
On that noise, have you felt that grow? Obviously, over the last few years, you guys have gone from strength to strength. It's not just Keely and Georgia, it's you guys as well. You're all picking up medals and setting national records. Have you felt that media attention grow over the last few years, and how have you coped with that as a group as well as individuals?
I probably have more noticed it in a positive way. I would say I've had a lot of good opportunities come up because I'm part of M11, and it now feels, because when I first joined, M11 wasn't actually a thing. I think it was probably 2 years after I joined that M11 was even created. So I feel like I've almost experienced the group in two different parts. But it definitely feels like everything has been pretty positive, and I've definitely not felt any negative media from being part of M11 at all.
And how's life changed with SportsShoes? And they've committed till 2028 for you guys in the room as well. So how's life changed within the group with SportsShoes on board, Sarah?
Oh, sorry. That felt really loud. And now it's not. Oh, it is. Okay. I guess like any support for the group is, like any additional support is always just going to be so helpful. And I think SportsShoes in particular is helping like some of the younger athletes in our group who might not be able to come on training camps and whatnot if it weren't for SportsShoes. And I think like just having everyone like be able to come with us and go away and train is amazing. And yeah, I think it's just good to have like to see a brand like SportsShoes getting behind a track focus group like M11.
Talk of youngsters coming through and freshers, newbies in the group. How can you spot a newbie for you guys? Has anyone ever joined? You'd be like, got some work to do.
Someone who's ready on time. If notoriously everyone is probably quite late, and then if anyone that's new to the group is ready way too early for the session, so they get it's tough for them to kind of be standing around waiting, really.
Is that just arrivals, or do you guys just take ages to warm up?
Bit of both, really. Like, we're talking training's meant to be at 10. We'll be at the track until could be 1:30. Like, it's it could be even later, like a really long time. And it's the arrivals late. The warm-up takes ages, and all of a sudden you're like, I am starving, and it's 1 p.m. It feels like lunchtime. So yeah, you can definitely, like when Elise Cranny first joined the group, I remember her first session, she was ready about an hour before the rest of us, and she was just there in her Vaporflies, just ready to go, and we were like, Elise, you need to learn the ways. Like, we just take a long time, yeah.
Are you just all like waiting each other out then, just eyeing each other up?
I honestly don't know what we're doing, and like then when I go home and train by myself in Ireland, it's like a totally different story. So there's just a lot of
faffing.
Yeah, just a lot of faffing around, and just no sense of urgency really. But I mean, obviously that's okay. We all have, most of us have time. So
Well, and it just sounds like you're having fun. You know, you're hanging out with one another. You're probably catching up as well. That's a huge part of it, no?
Yeah, and I guess there's just so many of us, like so many different conversations can be happening as well. It's like there's so many different people to talk to, so that's probably also why it drags on a bit as well.
Ethan, I'll start with you, but I probably want to pitch this question to all of you guys as well. Is the sport is extremely cutthroat. You have a time next to your name, which kind of tells people how much you're worth, especially sort of brands and media as well. How do you deal with that pressure in a day and age where we are just obsessed with times?
You can't really let it get to your head too much. Like, times will be times. Times will always get faster. And that will come with, the latest technology, whether it be through, faster tracks, wave lights, and shoes. So people are always going to get faster, and athletes are always going to get faster. All you just got to do is just try to get faster yourself, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, and then you're always going to have an opportunity to be faster. But at the end of the day, it's all about a championship race. Like, it doesn't always pan out like the fastest wins. Obviously, it helps to have the time to be in these races, but ultimately it's down to that one race, whether it be Worlds, Olympics, British champs or whatnot.
Is that how you view your season and your career as well, Erin?
Yeah, honestly, it's something with tying your name to a time is probably something I've really struggled with a lot. Probably up until the past year or so, I feel like I've managed to kind of get over that and just kind of focus on myself, not compare myself to other people. But it's taken me quite a long time to get there, I would say, and it was something that used to really get me down a lot of the time, just to do with track and field. And then I just reached a point where I thought I can't be bothered to be thinking like this anymore, because it really doesn't help you. And I think it's important to just almost take it day to day and race to race, and then the good results will come. And if they don't come, like, don't dwell on it, and it's fine. But that's something I've worked on quite a lot the past 2 years or so, I would say.
How have you worked on it?
I think I've changed my mindset quite a lot, and now I really don't focus on other people. I only really try and, obviously in life I think about other people, not just like a one-woman show over here. But in terms of running, especially in our group, it's very, very easy to get caught up in what Georgia's doing, what Sarah's doing, what Keely's doing, and think, oh, I'm not doing that, I'm not good enough. That's probably something I've felt while being in this group. But now I just think about myself, and am I doing as well as I can? And if yes, then all good. Then that's all I can do, basically.
And Sarah? National record holder?
Yeah, well, I think it's the same as definitely what Erin said about focusing on yourself. And, you know, times and records are always going to be broken, and you are like the championship races are kind of what really are the most important thing each year. But I would say that I am quite motivated by running fast, and just because I really like the idea of, you know, running as fast as I possibly can and trying to get the most out of myself. And I'm almost just like why I do this is I'm just quite curious to see how fast I could go. So I know any record I ever run will get broken. I know that, but I'm still really interested in the pursuit of like trying to run as fast as possible. So it does definitely motivate me, but I don't think I do also make an effort to like separate myself from it. Like I know doesn't like my value as a person is not based on how fast I can run 1,500 meters, but it does motivate me. So.
No, absolutely, and you're obviously professional athletes. You make conscious decisions to go to fast races, to chase fast times as part of the sport. But an interesting question is, do you ever make decisions based on money? And how often, or I guess how much does your income fluctuate as an athlete? And this is more just for people in the room and for people listening at home as well, sort of year on year, if you guys care to elaborate on that.
I mean, we're not earning footballers' wages at the end of the day. We probably don't get into the sport for the money. That's just the truth of it. It's not, like I said, it's not footballer wages, but, you know, you're still earning a wage, and it's not going to say it's bad, but like, there's ways of making money in the sport, of course there is, like anything. But I think you're out there to perform and win races and run fast times. If you kind of start letting, you know, money dictate your decisions in the sport, then for me personally, I wouldn't be able to like do that, because that's a distraction in my mind. I'm making the decisions on what's best for me to be a best athlete and not a money maker.
Sarah, you must have various offers on the table when you go to competitions and races as well. Does that ever come into play, or is it more just about where's the best race, where can I go and perform?
I mean, I don't know about that, but also I guess to be honest, the times where I've made the most money are when I've ran my best. So I just always think if like you're always gonna like it's just about doing my best, and then everything comes kind of with that. So I guess you make every decision with performance normally in mind and what's best for you, and then you kind of hope that everything else follows. Because I think, you know, doing well and performing well does get rewarded in this sport. But I think, like when I'm looking at my season, I'm obviously looking at what's gonna get me performing my best at the right time, and then hoping everything else will follow. But I'm sure there's a time and a place for that, and I guess sometimes people want to just go have fun and do some crazy race. Of course, like go for it. I'm all for that as well.
Yeah, we were talking before about Grand Slam as well, as a prime example of those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get involved in that or didn't race there, but obviously it was a cool concept for a while, but I guess it was just a concept, really. So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't put off other people from innovating more in the sport, because it's always cool to see new things. And obviously that maybe didn't pan out exactly as everyone hoped, but hopefully, it doesn't put off.
And then just before we wrap up this part one of the podcast, I just wanted to check in. How were our indoor campaigns? Sarah, I know you didn't race indoors, but Ethan, how was your campaign for you? I know it was only a couple races.
It was my first proper indoor season. Previously, I've probably done maybe one kind of 3K in my old training setup, just to kind of test winter fitness, see where it is. There's not really much of a goal behind it, whereas now there was probably a bit more of a goal behind it. Through that was probably a lot more enjoyment and learning and lessons rather than specific performance outcomes. It was something new and something to take away and develop into my outdoor season.
Erin?
Yeah, mine was a bit of a weird one, to be honest. I feel like I spent most of the winter not actually training very well, or a lot of people would, if people asked me how's the running going, I was like it's going, but I wasn't seeing anything in training that was like you're in really good shape, you're going to do well. So when I was on the start line for my first race, I was genuinely there, like, I don't know what's going to happen here. And then I actually did end up running an indoor PB, but it was significantly slower than my outdoor PB. And then I was kind of hoping to pull it together for British champs, but then I went there and it was just a total disaster. It was just a tactical race, and I came off the back of that. I think I was telling Trevor I was going to retire. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then managed to pull myself together for my last race of the season, which then ended up going really well. So now I feel like I'm in a good spot, but I definitely started in quite a bad spot, I would say, but then kind of built through it. So it was definitely positive overall.
I guess that's the difficulty indoors as well, isn't it? Just knowing where you're at. But something which I guess Trevor's been quite public with, and you guys as well, is you do a lot of race pace work in training. So that strikes me as almost unusual that Trevor, because he prides himself on being able to predict how quick you're going to go and run or what you can go and do. So did he have any ideas on that, or was it just you who was doubting yourself?
Well, I spoke to them after my first race, and they basically didn't really say anything to me beforehand because they were like, we didn't know what was going to happen, sort of thing. But it was, I'd got into a good race and I was always going to do it. And I was like, I would get a lot out of doing this. But yeah, they messaged me afterwards saying we're relieved, which I thought was quite a funny reaction to a race because normally it's like, you achieved your goal, but it's like there was no goal. It was just survival out there, I guess.
Interesting. And Sarah, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I missed indoors this year just because I had some injuries and stuff before Christmas and had missed a bit of training, so kind of needed to catch up, which was a bit of a shame. I really like running indoors and I like racing the 3K, which is like an indoor distance, but at the end of the day, it's not, I'd much rather be ready for outdoors, and it has been nice to stay in one place for a bit of time. So yeah, I'm doing well now, and hopefully I'll just be ready to go in the summer.
Anything on the horizon that you can mention?
I'm still just finalising my plans, actually. So yeah, hoping to, obviously European Championships are the main aim this year, so hoping just to race a few Diamond Leagues and just the normal kind of circuit, hopefully. But yeah, I'm still kind of planning it all out this year, so nothing really.
Brilliant. Well, look, let's just take a little 2-minute interval. Let's just grab a refreshment, nip to the loo, and then we'll come back for part 2. But in between that, we are going to play a little Insta challenge as well of who said what. We've done our research, Charlie and team have, so that'll be a bit of fun. But we'll get started with that, a minute or so, Charlie? If you need to just pop to the toilet or just grab another drink or just some food, we'll just have a bit of a break, stand up, relax, and then we'll get going in about a minute or two. Okay, then, let's get going. So, I'm sure you're all familiar with this game. In fact, you guys played it at a Christmas party, didn't you? And Erin was quizmaster, so some of these questions might even overlap. We fully expect Erin to have all the answers then. So we've asked pretty much all the M11 members, including Keely and Georgia as well as you guys. So let's see how we do. I mean, Erin, actually, let's start with you, okay? Who wrote this? 99 problems, but being the most photogenic runner out there is definitely not one. Tick emoji, 100, nails painted.
I'm like, who uses emojis like that? It seems like a specific lineup of emojis there. My mind always goes to Georgia just because she's got, across her 2 Instagram accounts, she must have about 1,200 posts. So it's the chances of it being her is very high. Like Georgia, not Katrina.
Are you locking in Georgia?
Yeah.
Locking in Georgia?
Yeah.
It was Sarah.
Oh my God.
Are you disappointed? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I really feel like I've let myself down there, actually.
It's before I knew you.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, who wrote, first camp of winter done, fueled by croissants and average coffee?
Again, I'm like Georgia, but it's just because she posts the most on Instagram. But, oh wait, no. Is that Ethan? It is. Yeah. It is. Why do I know that? I don't know.
She's a super fan.
Yeah.
There we go. It was you, Ethan. Do you remember that?
Font-Romeu?
Was it? Possibly, actually. I don't know. Yeah.
This year?
Was it a good post? Good engagement?
No, I just remember the average coffee.
Okay, Ethan. The sessions are brutal, but the sets are cute.
Georgia or Keeley?
No emojis.
Georgia or Keeley?
Let's choose one.
Yeah, definitely.
Speed it up. Just go.
Not
Keeley.
Georgia. So Sarah's winning at the moment.
Nice.
1 point for Sarah. Let's just do a couple more then quickly. Erin, cross your arms if you think I'm hot.
That's Keely. I know that post as well, yeah.
You remember it vividly, do you?
Yeah, it wasn't featured, but I remember.
Okay, nice point for you. Sarah, who wrote, spent 3 weeks in Poch, ran about 120 miles, and developed an Anne Robinson alter ego. Smiley face.
Erin.
Do you care to elaborate on this?
This is when I was quizmaster. I dressed up as Anne Robinson. So I had the glasses and I had a skirt and I basically had everything except the shoes, which was a pair of trainers, which kind of brought it down a bit. But yeah, it was a bit of fun.
Brilliant. Who won that quiz, by the way? Do you remember?
Oh my God, there was so many people there. I did all the teams as well, so it's all random. It's like people's parents in with different athletes and stuff. So there was so many people at that camp. So I can't remember. It was like team 6 or something. I don't know.
One big family. Okay, last one. Ethan, 5 PBs, 1 Olympics, 23 flights, many COVID tests, and a few tears. See you next year. Sparkled champagne and a few beers.
Sarah?
It is. You embarrassed by that, Sarah?
Like, who's writing these? It doesn't sound like you.
My assistant.
Do you have a social media manager, do you?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I've changed my style, I think.
It's the Erin influence, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on. Do you feel, on Instagram then, and you talk about Georgia posts a lot, do you guys like Instagram, like as an athlete, or do you feel like it's something you have to do?
I feel like I have quite an on and off relationship with Instagram, kind of depending on how I'm feeling in myself in a way. Like if I'm feeling good in myself, I'm all for Instagram, but if I'm not, then it's the first thing that gets deleted off my phone because I'm one of those. Yeah. Or I don't want to be, I have no aspirations to be an influencer, so I don't feel like I have to post anything. Or if I have a bad race, I won't post about it, but I just post, or even I would probably just post pictures where I think I look good, not bad. Like I'm very much, my Instagram's very much a highlight reel for me, and I don't really view it as something that I have to do. But I understand people can make money off it, but it's just really not for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually Georgia spoke about, doesn't she have a day a week where she actually deletes Instagram or doesn't go on social media as well? Is that becoming a common theme within the group as well, recognizing that you just need a bit of time offline?
I don't think we've discussed it, but I think it's just pretty natural that everyone starts to feel like that way after a while. And yeah, I'm the same as Erin, I'd say, and I spend a lot of time with it not on my phone, I guess. I like to have my account, and I do post, and it's mainly about running, but I guess it's just nice to try and limit how much time you spend looking at everyone else as well. But yeah, definitely a highlight reel, and I think everyone knows that now, but and I guess people just have more of an awareness now of how much time they're spending on it and maybe how it makes them feel. So I guess you just have to set your boundaries.
Yeah, I would agree with that. None of you are on Strava, are you?
No, don't like Strava.
Is it allowed? Is it allowed in M11, Strava?
Well, we kind of dabble, but private accounts with 10 followers. I more started posting on it because Sarah was posting on it, and then naming them's a bit of fun, but I definitely wouldn't take it that seriously. No. Yeah,
I keep it very private. It's just for my friends at home, to be honest, so they know what I'm up to. And I don't think they're trying to challenge. They're not going to start doing Trevor's training, so it's okay.
Could they last a week?
yeah, I don't. They just give me confidence boosts. They're like, you're so good at running. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Good. You need those people in your life. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about training then, if we can. Favorite sessions. I'll just ask you. We'll go one by one. Favorite session, Ethan.
Lactic sessions.
Can we give specifics? Open the door a bit.
400-500s.
You can't say that, seriously. It's like the worst one we do. It's the worst one we do.
That's why it's the best.
At 8 pace? 800 pace?
Or faster. Sometimes, yeah.
Erin?
My favourite session... Probably, I like running 1500 pace. That's probably the one where I feel the most comfortable. And we do one that's kind of like a bit of a cut down, like 500, 300, 200, and you jog in between. So it's a bit more continuous, but when you hit a nice rhythm in that, it does feel really nice.
And Sarah, a little bit more endurance-based?
Well, I actually do really like the one Erin just mentioned, but I also like doing I like K reps and stuff not on the track sometimes. I feel like sometimes it's nice running fast, like not on the track. It's like you're not thinking so much about like trying to hit splits, like a lap pace or anything. You're just kind of running hard. I quite like that, and we do a lot of like fast K reps around Wigan, which I like.
Do the workouts cycle through each training block, each year? How many times are you hitting those same workouts?
Twice, maybe a couple of times. I don't know. I'm still getting used to the program really and how things still work, but I think these guys will probably know more specifically how it works. But yeah, I mean, I've done them a couple of times. I think like when we do them first off, they're probably like just an introductory to get into the season, and then once you do them again, it's like you have your bench line, like go faster.
Well, I was going to ask your least favourite session as well, but I think Erin's is 4-500s.
I don't think I've ever done that without being sick. It's awful. I still just am shocked that you said that.
Because I think one of the things as athletes as well, you do so many workouts, and are there workouts you fear and you get nervous for as well, and how do you deal with that? Like I said, if you do that same workout in the training block or in the year, you know what's coming as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot of the time more nervous for the pain than for the outcome. Or the outcome for me is not, like the times on a bit of paper is not something that really scares me. Like if it goes well or if it could go badly, it's just, especially, we do this hill in Poch as well, where we go on training camp in South Africa that's very steep and it's just awful. It's just really hard. But obviously I do actually like that. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. But definitely on the start line of the first rep, feeling pretty nervous sometimes, but not just for what's to come, because you know what's coming because you've done it before.
Yeah, those hill reps are iconic, or at least from the outside, they look iconic. They look like a crucial part of your training program. Is that true, Sarah? Where do they fit into the training block as well?
Yeah, I'd say the hills. Yeah, they're pretty like fundamental part of Trevor's training. They're kind of, and there's pretty. Not all year round, but all kind of winter. So, anytime we're not racing, really, we're doing them. And yeah, definitely in Poch they are the most challenging. But I think it's kind of like fun sometimes because I feel like they're a bit of a leveler, and like obviously there's so many of us in the group, and you kind of know who's we all have sort of our places and people who are more likely to be in front of you in a certain session and whatever. But I feel like on the hill, kind of whatever PB you've ran or how good you are kind of goes out the window. And like, it's like a teenager is beating me up the hill today, and that is what it is. So I feel like that makes it like a bit, not like maybe fun is like not the right word. But that's just like an interesting part of it because it's different and everyone's just like trying their best and who you are does not mean anything on the hill.
It kind of brings out that raw competition, right?
Kind of. I mean, it's not like super competitive, but I guess it's just like, everyone's in a lot of pain, and like anyone can have a bad day or a good day, and some people are really good at this specific session or whatever it is. So it's not easy for anyone.
And then moving on to competition and tactics mainly, and how much did they discuss with Trev and Jenny before the race, and do we on the outside sort of hype up tactics too much? And and we love to talk about when athletes get it right and when athletes get it wrong. How much do you think about going into a race?
It's all individual, really. I think I've been an athlete that hasn't spoke about tactics with coaches previously because I've not wanted to. I've not felt like I've needed to.
You never have a conversation with Trevor?
But now I've done that. I've changed my approach. I've had those conversations with Jenny and Trevor more recently, and I've found benefits to both of them. I think sometimes I like to kind of just keep it to myself and not really overcomplicate it and kind of just simply go with what I think is best. And then sometimes, certain races probably require a little bit more thought to it, or I think so anyway. I think it's all individual, and I think whatever works best for the athlete. I think some athletes may like to really kind of sit down, discuss, and really have a plan A, B, C, or D, and then some will probably just not go off on a whim, but kind of have it kind of internally know what they're going to do and not really think they need to speak much about it.
Yes, Sarah, I'll ask you, what race in your career sticks in mind where really tactically, one, you got it right, but two, you had those thorough conversations going in, you considered all of those different angles the race might go?
I would say maybe, I wouldn't say tactics are necessarily an extremely strong suit for me. And a lot of the time in the races that I'm in, if I'm in a diamond league with Faith Kipyegon, there's not that many tactics involved. It's just you just need to run as hard as you can, and obviously you need to pace yourself. But I guess obviously European indoors last year, I won the race, so you'd say I got my tactics right there. And looking back, I think I did tactically quite a good job because I just remained calm in a pretty chaotic race. I had discussions with Jenny and Trevor before that, we had discussed a number of things that could come up, and then what eventually ended up playing out wasn't actually exactly what we discussed. But I think, it's important. It is important to talk about it, but a lot of the time, decisions need to be made in the moment as well. And it all depends, obviously, if you're going to be the one, dictating the race, going out there and doing something big, I guess you see Keely do a lot, then, that's a different story as well. But I feel for the stage of my career where I'm at, I know what I need to do to get the best out of myself. But I'll discuss it with them too, just to confirm we're all on the same page.
Yeah, because you hear stories of athletes preparing meticulously in training. They're working on a tactic in training to then take forward into a race. Does that happen at all? Or it is just a lot happens on instinct?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we're ever at training and Trevor's practice this tactic. I guess we do some sessions actually. I'm thinking of the 600s we do where we kind of do 400. Can I say this? Yeah. 400 steady into a 200 with a bit of a pickup. So I suppose that is kind of practicing a typical race scenario in a way. So we'd maybe do that, but Trevor's not setting it out this is a tactics session. It's still just a hard track session.
Interesting. And you guys surely watched the World Indoors, did you? I presume. Are you people? Because some people, if they're not at major championships, they don't really want to watch the major championships. They just want to have a bit of time off. So, but if we did watch it, what do we make of Keely, and where is she taking the 800 to? It's actually, we talk to people about it, it's quite frightening where she's taking this event to now.
Yeah, well, I definitely watched, and it was a great championship to watch. And Keely, I was just really, really impressed by Keely and Georgia. Even though obviously I see them in training and I expected both of them to win, but I just thought the way both of them raced was so impressive. I think Keely can probably take it wherever she wants, and it's cool to be so close to that. I mean, I don't know exactly what she's going to do, but I'm sure like if anyone's going to break that world record, it'll probably be her. So I feel like everyone would love to see her do it.
Did you see the world indoor record coming, Erin?
Yeah, I was not surprised at all. I think I was talking to people in the lead up to it because she didn't do the final of British Champs, and they were kind of questioning her decision around that. This is just like amongst friends, and I was like, no, I feel like there's something big coming on Thursday, so it'll all be forgotten then. But I think it wasn't a question of is she going to break the world record, it was kind of how much is she going to break it by. So I wouldn't have been surprised if it was even faster than that, to be honest. But yeah, it was just very, very impressive. And she just always looks so strong while she's running, so it's almost quite deceptive, I feel, as well. Because especially when she's so far ahead of the other people in the race, because it's almost like you can't see them, but they're probably all tying up and she just seems like she's still going. So yeah, it's very impressive to watch. Absolutely, and that 4x4 was something special. But it makes me think, is the 800 and the 1500 growing further apart, Ethan, than it ever has been? The crossovers are becoming less and less between those who can compete at the highest level in the 800 and the 1500. George's maybe Jess Hull, but on the men's side, even less.
Yeah, I think it's slowly going the other way. So the 15 is becoming a lot more paired up with the 5K, and the 8 is going way more anaerobic than ever and closer to the 400. You're probably seeing less people double now between the 8 and the 15 and going towards the 5 and doing it that way instead. But yeah, I think there's probably reasons for that. I think there's a lot of people preferring a more endurance kind of training, especially in the European like kind of things. So they kind of prefer that, and it is more fitted to the 15 5K stuff. But yeah, look, I think in the UK it's strong across all of them. So
what about you two? You obviously get to train with Keely a lot, and do you feel like the 800 is getting further away from the 1500?
I think you're kind of, or when you said in the men's side especially, I think I agree with that as well. It does feel like the men's is kind of becoming more 4-8, 8-15, whereas the women's, I'm not so sure, because I think, Georgia, of course, can do both of them. And then I'm like, well, obviously I'm not to the same level as her, but I would consider myself kind of down the middle of the two of them as well. So then I don't know if I would necessarily separate them yet on the women's side. But I guess Keely is more 4-8, so if you want to be running the really fast times, you probably do have to have a really fast 400 in you as well. But she would probably do a solid 15 as well. I mean, I don't think she'd be breaking the world record in the 15, but she'd probably be quite good at it, yeah.
I think people will be queuing up to watch her do a 1500. I'll say debut, but obviously it won't be her debut, but that would be a fascinating race. Look, we'll bring it back to being an athlete a little bit more as well, just as we begin to wrap up. But I wanted to ask, what's the best thing then about being a professional athlete, especially for M11 in that group?
Traveling the world. I think I've managed to go to some countries that I'd probably never thought I'd ever go to, and the most probably rogue countries are the ones I've enjoyed the most. And along the way, just meeting some really, really nice people who will probably be my friends for life.
That's very sweet of you, Ethan. Erin?
I love the lifestyle. I think I love the way the training structure works. And I actually used to do triathlon when I was younger. And to me, I look at professional triathletes and I just think I'm just glad that I actually chose athletics. Because they train so much, it's almost like it's your whole life. Whereas I feel like I can kind of do my training and still have time to do other things. So I like the balance that it gives me, for sure.
Yeah, if you're going to make it, Sarah, do you have to love what you're doing in running? You can't be one of those people who just does the sport because you're good at it.
I mean, I guess if you were, I don't know, absolutely unbelievable but you hated it. I mean, I don't know. I think you don't really get this far without, to keep it up throughout your teens and, I don't know, to progress to a certain point, I think you definitely need to enjoy it. And of course, like, I don't enjoy every single aspect, and there's definitely tough times and stuff. But on the whole, I do obviously love it, and I really, I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to kind of like pursue this to like my full potential, and that I don't have to, like, that I get to do this as a job. And I know like everyone says it, but like you would think it was really cool if when you were younger. Like I definitely didn't even know you could do this as a job when I was a teenager, but I would have thought it was so cool. And so yeah, I think you do have to love it, but I think you probably don't get to the stage of being a professional athlete really without loving it, because I guess you just make all those choices throughout your, like I suppose we all probably made the similar choices throughout our teenage years to kind of keep pursuing sport when other things came up.
It's extremely challenging when you're on the road a lot as well. You're going from Diamond Leagues, European tours, and you're away in South Africa a lot. And have you ever found it difficult to hold down those good friendships or even relationships in your career to date?
Not really. I think when everyone left, I mean, I did find it quite hard moving from Glasgow to Manchester. Just my social circle just feel like it got a lot smaller. But that just happens when you move somewhere new if it was for a different job, it would probably be pretty similar. And I feel like I went to university, I grew up in Glasgow, went to university there, and then it feels like after that point, when we graduated, a lot of people dispersed anyway. So all the friends I have, like, they're all kind of dotted all over the place anyway. So doesn't really make too much of a difference.
Ethan, how does that social life impact your performance on the track?
It doesn't really affect it, to be honest, because I kind of like the aspect of being away a lot. I find, especially for my performance, I find I thrive in it. I like to be away. I feel like I get the best out of myself because I can just have a routine, not really any distractions, and I can just crack on with what I want to do, really. And like you go back to it, like, I enjoy it, I love it. So it's just like a month away on camp is great because I can just get to do what I enjoy all the time, every day, pretty much. And I guess from a friendship and stuff, like my friendship group as a kid and stuff, we've all been very sporty. We've all gone on to do, be very successful in different sports. So we're all kind of
name drop?
Footballers, rugby players, cricket players, and stuff like that. So yeah, look, we're all successful in our own right, and we've always been very supportive of each other. So yeah, there's never kind of anything missing out. We're always there for each other. So it's kind of nice to have kind of been in that environment always, really. So you don't really feel like I've missed out on anything.
You've got to surround yourself with similar people, right? Let's bring it back to sports shoes and what's in the shoe rotation then as we wrap up then this as we go into the spring summer campaign. Talk us through your rotation, Sarah. Should we start with you?
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing these Pegasus Premium right now, which are very comfortable, but they're probably not part of my day-to-day running routine. I'm a big fan of the Zoom Fly, I feel like I've been like their biggest fan since I signed, and yeah, I just love them, and I think they're great. And they've brought out like a newer version more recently, and yeah, I think if someone, like a friend, asked me for a recommendation of a Nike shoe, that's what I would tell them. But obviously I love the Vaporfly and obviously everyone loves those. And then, yeah, so that would be like my biggest recommendation. And I guess the Vomeros have been pretty big recently too, which I think those are also a really good shoe, and people seem to really love them and find them really comfortable. So yeah.
Yeah, I can support that. The Vomeros are great shoes. Erin, favourite spikes?
I was a Dragonfly girl all year last year because I had a bit of a sore Achilles, so I just went and I kind of moved up to the 1500, so I thought I need to be in Dragonflies. But I've started wearing the Victories this indoor season, and I've been doing a bit more training in them, and I think they'd be my spike of choice now for going forward.
And I've just got a listener's question to ask as well. You've all been junior stars, to give a bit of context. World Junior medalists, European medalists, you've won titles as juniors, you represented your country. But What do you think has allowed you to transition to successful seniors and actually make a professional living out of this sport?
I'm still trying to figure it out myself, I'd say. I had a very, very promising junior career. I've just stepped into the seniors now, first year in the seniors now. I'm still looking to make that first senior team. It's been a bit of a trial and error at the moment, what's working for me, what's not. I think coming to the new group has been a great addition and probably one of the best decisions I've made for my career so far, and I think that will be great going forward into making senior teams and doing what I want to do in this sport. But like we said before, I think in the previous question, it's just surrounding yourself with the right people, and just having people who are just always going to support you and kind of have the same vision in mind for you. That's not kind of saying everything has to be about you and everyone has to support your goals in mind, but it's just saying that, it's a positive environment to have yourself in. I think you can get yourself quite down quite easily in the sport and letting things get on top of you. End of the day, it's an individual sport, so you're kind of by your own reckoning. So I think to have good people around you and to will just always help you propel forward.
Yeah, and Erin and Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've both made training changes and you've joined different groups after that sort of junior career. So you've almost left that junior career behind and started a new chapter. Do you think that's allowed you to succeed as a senior as well?
Yeah, I went from running with a club to then running amongst professional athletes in my group before this, before I came to M11. But I think, honestly, I just never, it was almost to the point of delusion my whole life. I just always thought I was going to be a professional athlete. And it wasn't like I chased it intensely. I wasn't making massive sacrifices or anything to pursue this goal to my expense. But I put myself in the right, when I felt like I'd kind of outgrown my club, I moved to a different group. And then when I'd kind of moved on from that one, I then came to M11. And I think the whole time I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be a professional athlete, but I never really considered the alternative properly. But so it's almost like a bit of luck as well that a lot of things have gone my way, or when I didn't get injured when I needed a contract and I managed to run a time at a certain point of my career that meant I could get the Nike contract. So a lot of things came from me, but I do think it probably was a bit of luck as well, I would say.
Would you say the same, Sarah?
I think, like Ethan said, I had quite a, I would say promising junior career, and then had a few very, by my own standards, very tough years. Then kind of I ended up changing environment and moving over here and joining M11. And I think I just always prioritized the environment, and I actually kind of held off on ever sort of signing anything because I knew I wanted to have a full, to have all my options available to me so that I wouldn't be hindered by a brand, and I'd be able to go and join whatever group or coach I wanted to join, where I could be the most successful. But I think what really allowed me to make the transition was definitely just having the right people, and my old coach, who had been my the only coach I had before this, he was so supportive and helped me make the decision to join Jenny and Trevor right when we kind of both realized I needed it. And then obviously he kind of handed me over to them. And so I think that kind of allowed them to take me on knowing what I needed and knowing what I had come from. Then obviously the change in environment and change in stimulus kind of allowed me to successfully make a bit of a transition, which so I'd say the people, I'm just very grateful that I had the right people around me to help me make the right choices.
And you guys, I mean, you've all had pretty good judgment throughout your junior careers, and you've known when perhaps time's up in that current setup, like you alluded to, and you've made that step forward as well, which is quite a mature decision to do as you're transitioning. Right, well, look, thank you all. It's been an absolute pleasure. That wraps up the evening then, basically. I mean, stick around for half an hour or so. We've got food and drink downstairs as well. And, of course, our special guests will be back on Saturday as well for an M11 Run Club Saturday morning. You guys looking forward to that?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to seeing you back here and potentially tomorrow night as well with Trevor and Jenny in the building. And we wish you a great few days as well. Enjoy your time in London and thank you all for coming tonight. But before...